And communities across the 4 states are assessing the damage after powerful storms swept through overnight. Plus, the deadly plane crash now under investigation in Missouri.
The Parsons Unified School District is looking at some financial struggles. My name is Mitch Adams, and I'll bring more details about that story coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
At least 11 skydivers and 1 pilot were killed in a plane crash in Butler, Missouri this morning. This is KOAM News. I'm Blake Gully. The crash happened just after the plane took off from Butler Memorial Airport. The plane was full of skydivers. Airport officials say the plane was unable to get altitude and made a sharp left turn and slammed about 300 yards from the runway before bursting into flames. The victims have not been identified yet. The National Transportation Safety Board is expected to soon start its investigation.
We had a plane crash on the property of the airport. We are treating that as a national or as a mass casualty. We want to be very clear, this is not a commercial airliner that has crashed. It's a local airplane that took off from our local airport. It's been here. It's not something that travels. It's not a commercial airline, and that's important to know. So
I think some of these were first-time skydivers preparing to skydive in a tandem formation. Not a lot of them, my understanding, were experienced, but just getting to enjoy God's green earth and then have something like this turn so tragic while potentially other family members were watching.
Last night's severe weather left a trail of damage across the 4 states. At the peak of the storm, Liberty Utilities reported about 28,000 customers without power. As of this evening, more than 70% have been restored, with about 7,900 still in the dark. In Carthage, the storms left visible damage to a historic building. Storm winds blew out part of the northeast wall of New Life Church on East Chestnut Street in Carthage. Debris from the collapse was scattered across the grassy area beside the building. No injuries were reported. Utilities crews and cleanup teams continue working through the region to recover from the storm. Meteorologist Chris Warner joins us with the first look at weather.
We had those severe thunderstorms, of course, late Saturday into early Sunday, left a lot of damage and honestly destruction behind. As for our Sunday, though, it looked considerably better. This is from earlier today, downtown Pittsburgh. Much calmer conditions across the area. Same for the Wesco camera 7th and range line and the MoDOT camera 32nd and range line. I know we were cycling through a number of these, and just the wind, the rain, everything we saw as these storms pushed through was just incredible. Of course, I've got this swath of heavier rain that ran through across the area, anywhere upwards of potentially maybe 5 inches. Now, remember, these are radar estimates, so may not have been that much, but there were water rescues in the Pittsburgh area, water entering homes in Frontenac with the heaviest of this rain. And look at all these reports, more than 300 reports of severe weather from yesterday. And the majority of those are what you see here into Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma. All those orange circles are wind damage reports. The green circles are measured wind gusts. We had a couple of hail reports, but not many, not as much as compared to that wind. Thankfully, tonight looks considerably better. We got mid-60s by 11 against some partly to occasionally mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures dropping low 60s by about 3 o'clock in the morning. Overnight lows tonight chilly for June standards for certain as we fall back into the upper 50s. And those gusty winds from earlier today starting to calm down overnight. We're going to have another look at your forecast, talk about our Monday and Tuesday, and have a look at some potential storm chances on Wednesday and Thursday here in just a few more minutes. Blake?
Thanks, Chris. The US 503 school district has uncovered a growing financial issue. KOAM's Mitch Adams brings us more details.
After a recent school board meeting, the USD 503 school board discovered that financial impacts will be greater than expected. A $600,000 deficit due to declining enrollment has now been increased due to several other factors. One factor is an issue with Tri-County Special Education software transition. Miscalculations showed a large discrepancy in the millions. According to the district, they were prepared for a $127,000 increase in special education costs, which has now been increased to $254,000. According to the Kansas State Constitution, the state should cover 92% of the excess costs, but are currently only reimbursing the district 67%. Last year, this left Parsons School District to cover $1 million in costs that should have been covered by the state, in turn leaving less money for salaries and maintenance. In a statement to KOAM, the district said, quote, "The district will continue to carefully evaluate its operations and identify opportunities to reduce expenditures while maintaining the high-quality teaching and learning experiences our students deserve." Now that the district has discovered an even higher increase in expenses, the board was forced to discuss about the possibility of increasing the mill levy in Parsons. Reporting in Parsons, Kansas, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
We'll be right back with today's Health Minute. Melanoma is the deadliest form of cancer, and even after treatment, it can come back. Now, researchers say an experimental vaccine may help reduce the risk of reoccurrence for some patients. Mandy Gaither has more in today's Health Minute.
These vaccines were first FDA approved for emergency use in the U.S. during the COVID-19 pandemic, but messenger RNA or mRNA has been studied for decades, and the vaccine technology is now opening up a world of possibility to help combat a wide range of diseases, including the deadliest form of skin cancer.
The mainstay of melanoma treatment is immune-based therapy. It really revolutionized the outcomes for patients with advanced stage disease. But unfortunately, a large number will still face recurrence and ultimately death.
Dr. Rajesh Nair with Orlando Health calls New York University research into reducing that recurrence risk a huge breakthrough. Results of the study published in the Journal of Clinical Oncology say a personalized mRNA cancer vaccine given after tumors are surgically removed cut the risk of melanoma death or recurrence by 49% when combined with immunotherapy.
It's designed to allow our immune system to identify parts of the cancer cells in multiple different ways to attack it.
Nair says current immunotherapy treatments allow the immune system to recognize cancer cells, but those cells can change. He says the research is showing that adding the experimental mRNA vaccine into the mix can identify a unique pattern in each patient's tumor.
And thus develop kind of a really unique and individualized treatment for that specific patient.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
A new study shows that teenagers and young adults are turning to chatbots for emotional support. The study found nearly 1 in 5 young people surveyed have used artificial intelligence to get advice or help when they are struggling. Researchers found that 40% of those teens using AI for emotional support are doing so at least once a month and consider the advice helpful. One doctor says AI chatbots can be used to help teens that are embarrassed to turn to an actual person. They are available at any time and appear to be non-judgmental. However, experts say chatbots should not be used as a substitute for person-to-person mental health care. There is no evidence that chatbots lead to positive outcomes in the long term or that they actually reduce symptoms of anxiety or depression. A new federal study is raising questions about alcohol and your health. Research commissioned during the Biden administration was left out of the Trump administration's new dietary guidelines, leading some health experts to question why. The study was released this week in a medical journal after being commissioned by the Biden administration. Researchers found health risk can increase with as little as 1 drink a day, linking even moderate alcohol use to higher risk of heart disease, cancer, and premature death. The report was one of 2 government reviews meant to help shape updated dietary guidelines, but its findings were not included in the final recommendations. Some study authors say the information was left out intentionally. The Trump administration denies those claims. Federal health officials say they reviewed the study alongside wider bodies of scientific evidence and based the guidelines on the total research available, not only a single report. Topping today's Health Watch, Consumer Watch, inflation hit a 3-year high in May. That's according to the latest Consumer Price Index report released on Wednesday. Prices continue to rise, and it's making affordability more challenging for many Americans. It also comes as millions of households face mounting debt. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan looks at the rising cost of goods and ways to manage the debt.
The cost of living continues to get more expensive. The latest Consumer Price Index report, which measures the changes in cost for a variety of goods, shows yearly inflation jumped more than 4% in May. That's the highest increase in 3 years. Food, energy, and shelter costs, which measures housing expenses, have all gone up in the last month.
A lot of people were kind of on the edge of affordability previously, and now energy costs and these kind of economic inputs are becoming more expensive.
John Kiernan with personal finance site Wallet Hub says when life becomes unaffordable, people tend to put more expenses on credit cards, and that can create more household debt. The latest data shows total household debt topped $18.8 trillion in the first quarter of this year, an all-time high according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. The average debt per household is more than $155,000. But if most of your household debt is from a mortgage, Kiernan says that's okay.
With a house, obviously you're building equity and there's a lot of value in that.
He says it becomes a problem when too much is from an auto loan, student loans, and credit cards.
The problem is a lot of people end up paying 25%, 30%, 35% interest on their credit card payments.
If you are worried about affording groceries and other bills, Kiernan suggests getting a credit card with 0% APR, so you're not paying interest. You can also take advantage of a 0% balance transfer credit card to move your debt to a different card. But you typically have to have a good credit score to qualify. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Chris is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, we take a look back at some of the wildest stories from the week we had.
Here's your Skywatch weather forecast from the trusted Roper Kia Weather Center.
Yeah, again, after our severe weather on Sunday, Saturday, considerably calmer for us Sunday. Again, earlier today, downtown Pittsburgh. Just kind of nice to take that in for a moment, but I know, unfortunately, a number of folks in the 4 states recovering from damage and in all honesty, destruction left behind. We've seen measured wind gusts, especially as that line moved to the south and east. It began an easterly turn on the Missouri side, and as it did so, coming through Cherokee County and turning east, that's when the winds really began to ramp up. We've had 60, 70, 75 mile an hour wind gusts through southeastern Kansas, and then as it turned, we started seeing 80, 85, almost to, but not officially measured at 90 mile an hour winds. So just absolutely a long night for many people, and unfortunately a long few days ahead, but at least Mother Nature is going to cooperate somewhat and give us a couple of good days to do what we need to do, get things cleaned up out there. Starting our future track tomorrow morning, we'll have some clouds out there. We're going to have a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies throughout the day on our Monday, but we will be dry. And even though we had some breezy conditions today, we are looking at calmer winds tonight and into our Monday as well. But those winds are going to pick back up out of the south as we head into our Tuesday. You can see Tuesday morning, some scattered showers, maybe even a few thunderstorms. I want to talk about a couple of things. One, right now we have no severe risk areas highlighted for Tuesday. We certainly would like it to stay that way. The other thing is the computer data is a little in debate as to whether or not we get these morning storms. Some of it, as you're seeing here, says we will. Some of it says we won't. So we'll kind of have to see how this complex plays out, whether or not we get those storms in the morning. The one thing they do all agree on is as we head into the afternoon hours on our Tuesday, we start seeing scattered storms. So they do agree on the activity you're seeing here later into Tuesday. And again, no severe weather is expected with any of that, but the computers at least concur that we'll see some additional thunderstorm chances as we head into Tuesday afternoon and evening. This is the other thing we're watching very closely. This is Wednesday's our extended severe weather outlook. Now, this showed up yesterday with all the severe weather. We didn't really discuss it very much, but we did see it. It was right down to about here, because there's only the 2 categories, so the 1 or the 2. We had a 1 that made it down to here and covered our northern counties. You can see today it's been updated, it's been expanded, and that 2 has been added in our far northeastern counties. A low pressure is going to develop out to our west and eventually track our way. Now, there is some uncertainty on the exact track of that, so this could change. We certainly hope it changes favorably for us and removes this severe risk, but we have to keep an eye on it. And while we'll have a lot of instability and energy in place, storms themselves may be limited in coverage. There's 2 scenarios there that we're looking at too, again, depending on the track and timing of this thing, where we either get, unfortunately, another line of storms that could bring damaging winds through, or we get individual storms, but those could bring their own hazards. So something we certainly want to keep an eye on. Again, into the evening tonight, we're going to go back into the upper 50s, so a bit cool out there for sure, and especially for June. Back in to the upper 50s, low 60s, calm winds. Tomorrow, calm winds expected, upper 70s, maybe a couple of lower 80s out there for us. And as we head into tomorrow night, Monday night, we're looking pretty good. Upper 50s, some low 60s. Still a bit cool. A few clouds out there. Calm winds still expected. Tuesday, partly to mostly cloudy skies. A few scattered showers and storms again, mainly in the evening. We'll see if we get those morning storms up into the low 80s, and we'll have those south winds gusting to 20. We'll keep an eye on those thunderstorm chances Wednesday, Thursday. We get hot and muggy ahead of that again on Wednesday. Upper 80s, low 90s. Drying out by Friday and Saturday. More storm chances by next Sunday. Blake?
Thanks, Chris. Coming up, a look at some of the excitement with the FIFA World Cup games. And the Royals look to salvage a game against the Houston Astros. Zach Patrick has those stories and more coming up next in sports.
Sunday series finales are the talk of the town today in Major League Baseball, and our two squads got out on the diamond during the day today. Let's head up to Kansas City. The Royals facing the Houston Astros. Bottom of the first, tied at 0. One man on for Michael Garcia. He hits a single to left. That brings home Bobby Witt Jr. for the first run of the game. Let's go to the bottom of the third now. Still 1-0 Royals. A man on for Jack Caglione, and he lines a single into right field off of Spencer Arrighetti. That brings in Isaac Collins, doubling the Royals' lead. In the bottom of the third, still 2-0 the score. Two men on for Michael Garcia again, and this time he goes to left, and that is a double down the line. That one will roll all the way into the corner as Carter Jensen and Jack Caglione come in to score, making it 4-0 Royals. And the Royals, they would hold on to that lead. Let's go to the top of the ninth. It's still 4-0. Daniel Lynch, the fourth, gets Joey Loperfido to ground out here, and that will end the game. The Royals, with the 4-0 win, they salvage a game in the series. Let's go over to Minnesota now. The Twins hosting the Redbirds. Bottom of the fourth, 1-0 Cardinals, and Victor Caratini with a 2-run bomb to right center field. That gives the Twins the 2-1 lead. J.J. Weatherholt, he'll respond with an absolute bomb of his own to basically the same spot. That makes it 3-2 Cardinals. That was an absolute blast from that young man. Let's go into the bottom of the seventh inning now. The Cardinals lead 4-2, and Byron Buxton cuts it to 1 with the RBI single to left. And all of a sudden, the Twins got something rolling, and Royce Lewis drops one into left. That'll bring home another run, and all of a sudden, it's 4-4 late in this matchup. He is hyped up about it. Again, the Twins had it rolling. This one smoked into the gap in left center field, and that will drop, and the Twins bring in what would be the winning run, 5-4, the final. The Joplin Jailbirds moved their matchup that was scheduled today with the Clarinda A's to tomorrow after last night's severe weather event. It will be a doubleheader starting at 10:30 in the morning, and each game will be just 7 innings. The Jailbirds hold the record of 7-3, while the A's are 6-1 and are on a 4-game win streak heading into the new week. The World Cup continues to roll on in the group stage as a few more teams hit the field for the first time today. Today's early portion of games has wrapped up with Germany dominating Curaçao 7-1. It looks promising for Curaçao when they knotted the game at 1 goal apiece, but it all went downhill after that. Then in Arlington, Texas, the Netherlands took on Japan in a thrilling 2-2 draw. The Dutch had a late lead, but in the 88th minute, Daichi Kamada scored for the Japanese and salvaged a point from the contest.
And speaking of the World Cup, we are excited around here because it's turning to Kansas City this coming Tuesday.
Yeah, very soon it'll be Argentina up there, and boy, that'll be so much fun to have one of the best players to ever step on the field playing in Kansas City.
Yes, and we'll be staying tuned to that and a lot more, and that's it for sports. We're back right after this. A wild week with a lot of different stories, and here's Jeremy Roth to recap this week's weirdest and wildest stories and take a look at this week.
Take a look at the week we had. A robot performance at a park in China had to be put on hold after a humanoid robot performing martial arts kicked a small child right in the stomach. According to state-run local media, the boy was not seriously hurt, but his parents did report the incident, which happened at a park in Xinjiang. The video quickly went viral on social media and prompted the park to suspend the performance. A newly released dashcam video showed a shocking cop-on-cop shooting incident that officials are chalking up to horseplay. The Pasadena Police Department released the video from last September showing a vehicle pulling up near officers, with one playfully pointing their pistol at the driver. Officials said the driver did the same, but his firearm discharged, striking one of the officers in the shoulder. Pasadena PD said the seriously injured officer recovered and unspecified disciplinary action was taken, calling the incident regretful. A strong weather system made for some serious wave-watching action in Hawaii, where seaside restaurant patrons marveled as huge waves surged against a street in Kailua Kona, soaking cars and pedestrians. The official observed wave sizes ranged from 4 to 6 feet, although locals believe the swells were likely larger. Finally, a tour boat crew spotted a surreal sight at sea, a dog, all alone, on an inflatable kayak. The crew with Serenity Farm Island Boat Tours heard a Coast Guard call reporting a dog named Bruce had been swept out to sea by strong winds. They found the German Shepherd floating alone in the kayak 2.5 miles off the English coast. They brought Bruce aboard and kept him safe and warm until he was reunited with his owner. For Take a Look at This Week, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Well, Blake, I'd like to officially congratulate you on becoming our official weekend anchor. You got it done, and I'm so happy for you, so proud of you, and can't wait to do so many more shows with you.
Oh, yes. We're going to have a good time on the weekend, again, as we connect with the community in the 4 states. And that is our show for tonight, but you can wrap this up.
You want me to wrap this up? Well, tomorrow, the Joplin Jailbirds get back on the diamond for a doubleheader, as I mentioned, and we'll leave you with footage from New York Knicks won the NBA Finals, and look at those people go crazy. And I'm going home, and I can't wait to celebrate at home this week.